Military commanders to intensify coordinated offensives against terrorist groups through stronger intelligence, advanced technology. The federal government has commenced payment of outstanding 2025 allowances to Nigerian scholars under the now terminated bilateral education agreement scholarship program. These and more on Panorama with me, Musa Abubakar. Vice President Kashim Shettima has urged an improved civil-military collaboration to sustain security gains in the northeast and other parts of the country. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa reports that the Vice President's message was delivered at the unveiling of the book Counter-Terrorism and Counter-Insurgency in Northeast Nigeria.
For more than 15 years, the Nigerian armed forces have remained at the forefront of fight against terrorism in the Northeast, a global security threat that has killed and displaced thousands of people while destroying property worth billions of naira. The two-volume book, Counter-Terrorism and Counter-Insurgency Operations in the Northeast, seeks to highlight the history of terrorism, combat campaign strategies, sacrifices, and stabilization efforts in the region. The publication documents years of military and civil operations against Boko Haram and ISWAP, drawing from the author's personal experience, as well as declassified operational data.
This book aims to provide fresh insights into some topical issues on national security and to fill the gap in literature on certain aspects of our counter-insurgency operations.
In a message delivered at the event, Vice President Kashim Shettima described the work as a powerful account of Nigeria's steadfastness in the fight against terrorism.
We must continue to strengthen our institutions, deepen civil-military cooperation, invest in technology and intelligence, and rebuild communities affected by violence. Peace must be defended with vigilance and sustained by justice and development.
We are trained at Academy to fight wars. We have these wars ongoing. We don't have any excuse. Every member of armed forces must ensure he contributes to the success of the operation, either directly or indirectly.
The book also stressed the need to publicize the names and pictures of sponsors of Boko Haram. In Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
The Nigerian Air Force has presented a comprehensive report to the National Human Rights Commission on investigations into the alleged casualties following an airstrike by the air component of Operation Fansanyama at Tumfa in Zurmi local government area of Zamfara State on the 10th of May 2026. Defense correspondent Olajide Bello reports that the Chief of Civil Military Relations, Air Vice Marshal Edward Gapquet, led the delegation.
Beyond the sounds of jet engines lies a quiet, more critical mission, the mission to save lives. Charting a new course for area operations, the Nigerian Air Force is institutionalizing a robust civilian harm mitigation and response protocol, embedding safeguards and accountability measures to drastically reduce unintended casualties and build a foundation for lasting peace. This meeting, therefore, between the Civil Military Relations Branch of the Headquarters Nigerian Air Force and the National Human Rights Commission is to ensure protection of human rights during combat operations.
We shall continue to ensure that our operations are in line with international best practices that factors in the civilian environment and every other infrastructure that supports the civilian environment.
We're happy today that the Nigerian military, represented by the Nigerian Air Force, the Directorate of Civil Military Affairs, has deemed it necessary to respond to the call for responsibility and accountability and proportionality in the counter-insurgency efforts.
Precision in the air is only half the mission. Protection on the ground is the ultimate objective. Olajide Bello, NTA News.
The Inspector General of Police, Olatunji Disu, has assured the people of Ekiti of adequate security and professional conduct ahead of the forthcoming state governorship election. at the election stakeholders meeting and peace accord signing in Ado-Ekiti. The IGP stated that the Nigeria Police Force, alongside other security agencies, is fully prepared to ensure a peaceful, free, fair and credible election. The meeting brought together INEC officials, political parties, security agencies, traditional rulers, civil society groups, and the National Peace Committee led by former head of state Abdulsalami Abubakar. The IGP revealed that deployment plans have been completed for all 16 local government areas, 154 wards, and over 2,400 polling units across the state. He urged political actors to honor the peace accord and called on residents to come out and vote without fear, assuring them of maximum security before, during, and after the election. As Nigeria continues to deepen its democratic process, stakeholders are calling for greater clarity in the interpretation and application of technology-driven provisions in the Electoral Act to curb avoidable post-election disputes and litigations. The concern took center stage at the stakeholder sectorial reflection series of the Electoral Act 2026, organized by the Parent Advocacy and Advancement Center in Africa. Joseph Oaten reports.
This is the third episode of the sectorial reflection series on the Electoral Act 2026. Political actors, legal experts, and civil society groups examine gaps and emerging realities in the country's electoral framework. The focus this time is how technology is reshaping electoral participation in Nigeria.
We can see that the Electoral Act has recognized the use of the beavers. For instance, we can see even mandating political parties to maintain a digital register is also the use of technology.
Because there are people who believe that that result is computed electronically, and until we let people know that there is no electronic computation, what you have is electronic viewing portal.
For a party like mine that started digital registration 8 years ago, you would need to include the NIN and all the new fields that are introduced in the new law. So it's quite challenging, but of course we see it as a future.
For these stakeholders, Nigeria is entering a new phase of electoral governance. Therefore, political actors and institutions must be engaged to have clear insight on the implementation of the digital reforms. In Abuja, Joseph Oaten, NTA News.
The federal government has commenced payments of outstanding 2025 allowances to Nigerian scholars under the now terminated Bilateral Education Agreement (BEA) scholarship program. In a statement, the Director of Press, the Federal Ministry of Education, Mrs. Folashade Barrio, confirms that the ministry, in collaboration with the Central Bank of Nigeria, has remitted the approved funds to Nigerian embassies and missions for immediate disbursement to eligible beneficiaries. She explains that the payment represents 50% of the approved outstanding obligations for 2025, while efforts are ongoing to release the balance. Minister of Education Tunji Alausa describes the disbursement as evidence of President Bola Tinubu's commitment to the welfare and academic progress of Nigerian students abroad under the Renewed Hope agenda. He also appreciates the affected scholars for their patience and resilience, stressing that the government remains resolute in supporting students on government scholarship schemes. The Chartered Institute of Logistics and Transport Nigeria is championing discussions on the need for effective and coordinated transport and logistics systems as a catalyst for economic growth and continental development. At its first annual lecture series in Abuja, stakeholders across the transport and logistics sector converged to explore strategies for strengthening connectivity and unlocking Africa's economic potential in transport. Transport correspondent Ladibala reports.
From delayed cargo movement to poor transport links and costly cross-border trade, Africa's connectivity deficit continues to slow down economic growth and regional integration. As the continent seeks to unlock the full benefits of the African Continental Free Trade Area, stakeholders here are exploring practical solutions to improve the movement of goods, services, and people across Africa. The Chartered Institute of Logistics and Transport, Nigeria, is leading the conversation at its annual lecture series.
The roads that should connect farmers to markets are inadequate. The railways that should carry bulk cargoes across national borders are underbuilt or non-existent. And the logistics system that should bind all of this together into a coherent, efficient, competitive whole are fragmented, underdeveloped, and insufficiently integrated.
Reforms include the Federal High Court practice directions aimed at improving Nigeria's compliance with the Cape Town Convention and Aircraft Protocol. These reforms are not merely legal exercises, they're economic instruments. By improving legal certainty, we reduce financing risk, attract lessors.
The Nigerian Railway Corporation, with the support of the federal government, is making significant efforts towards improving both national and regional connectivity through ongoing rail modernization and expansion projects.
The highlight of the event was the presentation of awards to distinguished personalities in recognition of their contributions to the transport and logistics sector. In Abuja, Ladibala, NTA News.
It's now time to pause for a break. Panorama continues after. Thanks for being there. Nigeria's economic recovery process has commenced following bold reforms introduced by the administration of President Bola Tinubu. Minister of Solid Minerals Development, Dele Alake, stated this at the joint stakeholders sensitization meeting organized by the Nigeria Revenue Service and the Ministry of Solid Minerals Development for the North Central Zone in Abuja. The minister said the country has finally begun the difficult but necessary journey from consumption-driven economics to productive industrial growth. The meeting theme from resource to revenue, aligning solid minerals operations with the 2025 Tax Reform Act, brought together operators, regulators, and industry leaders to strengthen collaboration, improve compliance, and deepen understanding of the new royalty and tax administration framework in the mining sector. Highlighting the ministry's crackdown on illegal mining, Alake revealed that over 300 illegal mining operators have been arrested, including foreign nationals, while more than 150 prosecutions are ongoing. The National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, says it will sustain continuous surveillance, intensify inspections and enforcement rates, as well as strengthen collaboration with local and international partners to ensure that Nigeria does not become a safe haven for unscrupulous importers and manufacturers of counterfeit products. This was part of the message by the Director General of the agency during the special destruction exercise of fake and substandard products worth billions of naira. Haman Jabani reports.
The expired and unwholesome products were voluntarily handed over for destruction by concerned companies, NGOs, and the Association of Community Pharmacists of Nigeria, among others. This highlights the importance mop up substandard, falsified, expired, and unwholesome regulated products from the supply chain. The Director General of NAFDAC, Professor Modishola Ideye, who was represented, says the exercise demonstrates the agency's unwavering commitment to safeguarding public health.
For the naysayers who always believe that once a product is seized, it must find its way back to the system, we are showing them here that it's not like that in NAFDAC. We got convictions where some people were sentenced to 40 years imprisonment for these things. And these are part of the things we're going to be showcasing.
Some stakeholders at the destruction site commended NAFDAC for its commitment and assured the agency of continued partnership.
Customs usually are the first to examine goods coming in the ports
and the border stations. Such goods, when encountered, are usually given to NAFDAC as a collaboration.
This is a very important step in addressing public health challenges in our country.
The agency is also strengthening its enforcement strategies to track and seize substandard products and prosecute offenders, while working with lawmakers to amend the NAFDAC Act to enforce firmer penalties to frustrate counterfeiters. Hamman Jabani, NTA News.
Now, the Minister of Housing and Urban Development, Dr. Muttaka Rabi Verma, has expressed disappointment over the slow pace of work on the renewed Hope Housing Estate project in Yobe State. During an inspection visit to the site in Damaturu, the minister threatened to revoke the contracts of non-performing contractors after discovering that the project, awarded in 2024 with a 4-month completion timeline, is still only about 40% completed nearly 2 years later. Adam Yusuf Ali reports.
Assessment visit by the Minister of Housing and Urban Development, Dr. Muttaka Rabi Verma, to the ongoing Renewed Hope Housing project in Yobe State was aimed at evaluating the level of progress recorded at the construction site.
Almost abandoned after 2 years. And I know this is not the only place. I will visit every state and find out the status of all of those projects that we have in those states, and we will take action.
During the inspection tour, the minister expressed dissatisfaction over the slow pace of work and reaffirmed the federal government's commitment to the timely delivery and high-quality completion of the 250-unit housing estate in the state.
They signed contract that they will complete the project after 4 months of commencement. And see what we can see. Only about 40% of completion. It is pathetic. This cannot be tolerated.
The 5 billion naira Yobe Renewed Hope Housing project is part of the federal government's 50,000-unit Renewed Hope Housing program being implemented across the country to provide Nigerians with easier access to affordable and decent accommodation. In Damaturu, Adam Yusuf Ali, NTA News.
In moments of curiosity but thoughtful conversation about their lives and well-being, children from across Nigeria engaged the Minister of Women Affairs, Iman Suleiman Ibrahim, on issues affecting their future. This is coming ahead of this year's Children's Day celebration. Momso Damien Duffy captured the moments.
For many of the children, it was a rare opportunity to sit face-to-face with a government official and ask questions that truly matter to them. From education and healthcare to safety and equal opportunities, the young parliamentarians spoke confidently about their hopes and concerns for Nigerian children.
Adolescent girls face abuse. They are often shy to talk to the right people. They need to discipline the abusers. They need to teach them the right thing. Well, for confidence, they need to teach them about self-esteem.
Implement policies to adolescents on social media.
Responding warmly, the minister noted that while the federal government continues to expand social welfare programs, building a better future for vulnerable Nigerians must be a collective effort.
To support the social development agenda of the government, because the government is overwhelmed. We're playing catch-up. We inherited a system that did not work on a lot of social issues. Social development is becoming a priority, but we must also synergize, we must bring our hands together, work together, so that we can be able to attract more attention to the space, more investment to the space.
The forum is a reminder that the voice of every child matters in building an inclusive society. Momso Damien Dati, NTA News.
The federal government of Nigeria, in collaboration with the International Fund for Agricultural Development, Livelihood Improvement Family Enterprise, Niger Delta project, has distributed agricultural inputs and disbursement of cash to graduates of the first batch of additional financing of incubatees in Cross River State. Paul Abel was there and completes the report.
IFAD Life ND project was established to reduce poverty in the Niger Delta region of Nigeria through training of women and youths, including persons living with disability, PWDs, with agro skills through the incubator-incubatee model to alleviate poverty. With 630 incubatees, 250 receiving 100 million naira, and others, agrochemicals and fertilizers, having received training in the cassava, rice, fish and poultry value chains in this first batch.
This could not have been possible without the support of the federal government of Nigeria, through His Excellency, the President of the country, who has been consistent.
Totally, we have 100 million for this 250 incubators. From time to time, we carry out our oversight function of monitoring and supervision.
High points of the flag of ceremony include parade of different production, processing and marketing value chains, testimonies and presentation of inputs, as well as disbursement of checks to incubatees.
I achieved a power tiller machine and a threshing machine, even rice milling and a destoning machine.
When the money enter my hand, I will establish more than that, and I pray next time if I come, I will testify.
In Calabar, Paul Abel, NTA News.
Next is sports update.
Still on basketball, in the Nigerian Basketball Federation Men's Premier League, it's game day. A second round match pitched Plateau Pigs against the Warriors Friday at the Indoor Sports Hall of the National Sports Commission in Rayfield, Jos. In the Nigerian Professional Football League, preparations are in top gear by the various club sides towards the last matches of the season slated for this weekend. Rangers International of Enugu must not lose their away match to Ikorodu City for the team to emerge champions of the 2026 season, as only a point separates the Enugu-based team from second-placed Rivers United. In another development, Team Nigeria opened its campaign at the African Open Para-Powerlifting Championship in Algeria on an impressive note after winning 3 medals on the conclusion of day 2 events. Nigeria's Oguntoyle Tolulope, Esther Onyema, Ezuruke Roland, among others, made it to the podium. With sports updates, Olumide Eguntola, NTA News.
Well, that concludes Panorama for today. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day.